Well, hello everyone. Good morning. If it's morning for you, I'm back with a vengeance. Thanks for joining. I'm glad to be back. I hope this is going to work this time. So last time I tried to stream. My internet connection was simply failing, and that made the experience terrible for you guys. I hope, well, I did some tweaking on my home installation setup, and hopefully it's better now. Please tell me in the chat if it's not working for you. So YouTube is telling me that um, there is currently some buffering going on. Oh, there was even some no data. This looks scary. I hope this only results in some buffering for you. Yeah. Anyway, so today, what are we going to talk about? Tutor and Open edX, of course. So as you may know, the next Open edX release is in the process of being created. It's going to be called Lilac. Lilac will be following on after Koa. Koa is the current release. And thus, I need to upgrade Tutor and all its components to the latest Lilac release. This time around, it's I'm not doing this alone. I'm not doing this on my own. As we launched the Tutor Maintainers program, which I am very excited about. If you have not heard about the Tutor Maintainers program, let me show you what it is. For that, let's head to the forums. I will share my screen in a second. Yeah, so in the forums, there's now a community category with a maintainers subcategory. And in there, you will find both the Tutor Maintainer Handbook and the list of current Tutor maintainers. The Maintainer Handbook explains how to join the program. And this is the list of current maintainers. So thanks to all those people who joined the program. Much appreciated. If this streaming thing works, again, I'll try to do that more frequently. I'll try to implement some of the tutor features, community moderation, and do it live. If you want to thank me for that, well, you can say a big thank you in the chat. It's always appreciated, or in the forums. You can decide to join the maintainers program. There is also a post on the forums. It's I think it's how can you help. What's the name again? How can you help? Yeah. So it's supposed to be pinned on top of the forums. If you want to subscribe to either the commercial Wizard Edition license or the Tutor AMI on AWS, this is money that lands directly in my pocket. Or you can just send me a present from my Amazon wishlist. So speaking of which, since last time, I received this in the mail. So this was part of my Amazon wishlist. It was a gift which was anonymous, so whoever you are, thanks a lot. It means a lot to me to receive that. It's really it's a token of appreciation. It's a good warm fuzzy feeling. Maybe we can get to work. So there is currently some buffering going on, meaning that there is a lag between the moment I stream and the moment you see what's actually happening. So if that means that there will be a lag between your questions and the moment when you when I say something and the moment when you send. Well, you get the point. You get the point. There's a lag. I might take a while to see your questions. Anyway, all right, let's get to it. So what are we going to work on? I would like that we work on Lilac. So I already upgraded the core tutor package to Lilac. Let me show you. Tutor tree. Let's go to the tutor repo. Create a pull request. I think I did. Yes. So it's pull request 421, which runs on branch Lilac. And this, so if you run on top of this branch, then you will be running the current Lilac release candidate. So it's definitely not meant for production. Do not run this in production, please. There will be many changes before this is actually released. But this is a good starting point to start working on upgrading the plugins. So what's changed in Lilac? Well, the release version, obviously. This includes a few to-dos. So yeah, I took the habit of adding to-do statements to the source code so that I can come back to it later. This is why this PR is not ready yet. The Elasticsearch configuration was modified. So all these changes are summarized in this thing I call the brain dump, which I posted on the forums, and which lists all the changes that I had to make in Tutor. Is this working for you? So Sofiane, hi Sofiane. Apparently it was a bit laggy, but it's got better, which is great news. Great news given my connection. So that means that we will be working on top of this branch. So there were not so many changes to upgrade to Lilac. Actually, the single biggest change was that we had to upgrade Elasticsearch to v7, but otherwise, yeah, not so many changes. So this means that this is done. Well, done. It's a work in progress, but we're probably going to discover new issues as we go along. But right now, what I would like to do is to work on micro frontends. So micro frontends are all the rage in Lilac. Micro frontends are small pieces of Open edX, which run exclusively in JavaScript, in client side. And they interact with the backend, with the LMS backend, through the LMS APIs. This means, and the micro frontends are compiled statically once every time the configuration is changed. This means that every time that we make a configuration change, we need to rebuild the MFEs. And in exchange for this complexity, we get a tiny bundle of JS, CSS, and HTML code, which we can just push anywhere, and it will run. We just need to put a static asset web server in front of the micro frontend, and it will work just fine. And so micro frontends so edX has started to replace bits and pieces of the LMS by micro frontends. And in the upgrade to Lilac, this means that we need to include a few micro frontends to Open edX and in Tutor. So how are we going to do that? As usual with Tutor, we're going to proceed with plugins. And what I did was create an MFE plugin. So MFE is short for micro frontend. And I am working on this MFE right now to implement the 4 micro frontends which we need to add to Tutor. So the build test release working group decided to implement 4 MFEs. These, and you can see the list of MFEs in this build test release working group repo on GitHub, which lists all the issues that the working group needs to address. And here you can see that there are those 4 issues: support for the payment, gradebook, profile, and account MFE. So actually the gradebook MFE is optional, but we will be adding it to the MFE plugin anyway. So that means that that there are actually only 3 MFEs which are mandatory for inclusion in Lilac. So let me show you how this works. Let's go back to the MFE repo. So I didn't push my changes to the remote, to the GitHub remote yet, so you will have to check my code. Let me show you. There it is. So you can see my editor, my IDE. Hey, Shubham Amrotkar, good to see you. Let me check something. Yes, you can see my code editor. So this is the Tutor MFE repo, in which I made all the changes to make this compatible with the Lilac branch of Tutor. And let me show you how this works in practice. So I got the so Tutor is installed, obviously, and here's the full list of Tutor plugins which are installed, and I installed the MFE plugin. And that means that I can build the Tutor images. I can build the Tutor MFE, the MFE Docker image. And this will build the account, gradebook, and profile MFEs. So I did not try to address either the e-commerce or payment MFEs. And I did that during the last couple days, and these 3 MFEs are supposed to be working. So let's check them out. Or maybe I should show you first what the MFE Docker image is about. Yeah, let me show you that. I think it's really interesting. So this is the MFE Docker image, and so there was a long conversation on the forums about how we would deploy MFEs, and the idea was initially had the idea that we would have one single container per MFE. And I figured, and other people as well, that it would be a bad idea, actually. It would be simpler to have all MFEs served from a single container, which would include a static web server, and which would expose the static assets all from the same container. And MFEs take a while to build. They are simple to build, but it takes a while. And to avoid useless building, I wanted to rely on some caching system, and I figured that the best caching system would be the Docker layer caching system. So the MFE image starts, which includes a few basic packages like git, make, libpng, which is used by many MFEs, and such and such. And then for every MFE, you see this for loop. For every MFE, we clone the repo inside. First of all, we create a different Docker layer, and we clone the repo in that layer, install node dependencies, and then run npm run build, which builds the MFE. So this for loop, it's not a standard Docker file statement, of course. So remember that in Tutor, everything works on top of templates. So this is actually a Dockerfile template, which will be rendered, and depending on those variables, such as MFE apps. So maybe we can take a look at the rendered file. So let's go to the shell. I take a look inside the Tutor root. And there, it's inside the plugins repo, MFE, build, MFE, and let's take a look at the rendered. So this is the rendered Docker file. And you see that for every MFE, there's now a different Docker with the same name as the MFE. Everything fine, no question there. I have a window in front of my terminal. Sofiane, I have a window in front of my terminal. What does that mean? I guess you should be able to see it now, I think. If not, please comment again. And the final step. The final step is to create a new Docker layer, which will be based on top of the Caddy Docker image. So Caddy is a web server just like Nginx or Apache, and it's really easy to configure, and it's quite efficient at serving static assets. So in this Caddy image, we copy the static assets from the other layers. So for every MFE, we copy the OpenEdX app dist folder right there, and the OpenEdX dist, and then a directory with the same name as the MFE. And we also copy a configuration file, which looks like this. So again, for every MFE, create a file server with which points to the OpenEdX dist repo, a folder that corresponds to the MFE. Again, we can take a look at the Caddy file, and for every MFE, there is a nice section there. Any questions so far? All good? Okay. Good to see that some people are still following. Don't be shy. If you're here, please say hi in the chat. I appreciate it. So let's take a look at what it looks in practice. So I deployed this to lilac.overhang.io. And so this is a public server, and you can try to access it. OBS says reconnection successful. Okay. So this is not the OpenEdX, the Tutor platform is not actually running on my local computer. This is because I have, again, a terrible internet connection, and it truly doesn't play well. OpenEdX doesn't play well with OBS or YouTube streaming because it uses so much CPU and memory. And thus, I run the OpenEdX platform on a remote server. But I edit the files locally. And this all happens then thanks to a sweet little plugin, which is called Machine, and which is part of the commercial Tutor Wizard edition. And so this means that the platform runs on a remote server, and I don't have to worry about bandwidth or performance. It's really cool. You should definitely buy it. Oh, you are seeing, oh, this is terrible. You are seeing my password manager. Oh my god, this is terrible. You really shouldn't be seeing that. Why are you seeing my password? Let me just try to figure this out. You shouldn't be seeing it. Okay, I hope you don't see it anymore. Oh god, password manager. Yeah. At least there were no actual passwords there. And you run the Lilac platform, and everything works great, except it doesn't. So here it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Let's have a look at the logs. So as usual, when you get a 500 error, you should really take a look at the logs. I think that the actual issue was that I launched the dev containers earlier. Yeah, so this MySQL connection error, it's typically because both the local platform and the development platforms run simultaneously. Yeah, so I will now stop the dev containers. The joys of live streaming, when everything fails, when you don't expect it. Yeah. And now this should be working better. Yes. Yeah, apparently you were seeing my password manager again. I just closed it. Hopefully I don't have to bring it back on again. Okay, so we enabled the profile, account, and gradebook micro frontends. So let's take a look. The profile micro frontend is accessible from here, and we can see that it works. Yeah. Do I have a picture that I can upload? Gravatar. What's my gravatar? Can I try to upload photo? I will upload a 500 a screenshot of the CMS. And hopefully we should be able to see the logs. Oh, connection refused to MongoDB. Interesting. Let's just restart the whole platform, or maybe just MongoDB. MongoDB LMS, and if we start the LMS, it's better to start Nginx and Caddy. So let's do that. Oh. So this should be working better. Oh, but no, but my picture was uploaded successfully. Let's take a look at the logs. So I uploaded a screenshot of an error message. So it's perfectly normal if here it says encountered an error. In my experience, there's one issue here with the profile MFE, and it happens when, well, we can learn about it when we check the console. No, it doesn't happen anymore. So I was facing a course issue with the profile MFE. Anyway, it doesn't happen anymore. Maybe it was with the account. So let's take a look at the account MFE. So the account MFE is for editing your profile. So I was born in, no, actually I was born in 1902, save. And it's working. So if I reload, yeah, 1902. So it looks like it's working. And then, so we can take a look at the network calls to understand how MFEs work. So you see that we fetch the account URL. This returns a simple HTML file, which is the index.html file. Then there are a few more calls for the JS code, both the vendor and the MFE code, then the favicon, and then all other calls are made to the API from the LMS. So this returns data from the LMS. So this is how the MFE interacts with the rest of Open edX. Any questions so far? So I was facing an issue with a course issue, but it looks like I'm not facing it anymore. So I guess we're good. So what about the gradebook? Let's take a look at the list of courses. And it's strange that there are no courses because, oh, by the way, you can see my new avatar here. It's strange that there are no courses here because I created a demo course. So this might be a bug. Let's take a look at the studio. So again, as we upgrade from one release to the next, it's quite frequent to discover new issues. Yeah, okay. So I was saying it's quite frequent to discover new issues as we go along, and so this is a typical example. The studio servers encountered an error. Let's take a look. Why is that? So here we're looking at the logs from the LMS. Let's instead take a look at the logs from the CMS. The CMS says, oh, there's a site matching query which did not succeed. This is strange. This is strange. Why? Okay, so this is an issue that does not stem from edX platform, but it comes from a middleware, from the site's middleware. And it's really not supposed to happen because we are supposed to have... Right, I know what happened. Okay. So, yeah, it's my fault. It's not because of edX platform. So there is a hard-coded site ID, which points to the site ID in the MySQL database. So the site ID, let me show you. Sites. Yeah. So sites corresponds actually to domain names, and it allows edX platform to have different behaviors depending on the domain name. And the site ID is hard-coded to 1. The thing is that OpenEDX comes by default with a site that points to example.com. And I deleted it on this installation. And I created this one, but it probably has a site ID 2. Yeah, you can see here in the URL that the site ID is actually 2. And it means that, yeah, we need to change it to be 1. So let's try that. Can we change? Oh, this is going to be painful. Let's try to do it from the command line. So this is not going to happen to you if you launch a platform from scratch. It just happened to me because I deleted the default site. But wait, shouldn't we be creating a site if there isn't one? I think we should be creating a get or create. Yeah, let's do a local run ls bash. So every time I try to tell OBS to change window, it also sends a signal to the shell, which was not expected. So I launch a Python shell. There are a few warnings every time we launch a Python command in Lilac, and this is really a pain in the ass, and I want to take the time to get rid of them. I probably by simply muting them. So where does the site? So site comes from here. Yeah. So we are going to I don't want to. Should I be? Could I just change the ID? So this is going to break any index that exists if there are such indices. I'll change the ID, and if it doesn't work, then I'll revert it back to SID equals 1, then save. Nope. Yeah, so this is trying to create a duplicate entry. So I'm first going to have to delete the site, and then create a new ID and then save it. No. Django site domain. What did I do? I broke everything. So it didn't delete anything. So let's do that. Yeah, so there are no sites anymore. And then come on, this should be working. Internet connection. Hello? Hello? At the perfectly wrong moment. Yeah, so it looks like it's working. So let's see if my analysis was correct. Let's try to log in the studio again. And this should be working. Yeah, it's working. And we see that there's a demo course. And now we need to figure out why this demo course does not appear in the LMS. Let's hit View Live. So Sofian tells me that you had the same issue when upgrading the platform and changing domain with e-commerce. Tried forcing it, didn't end well. Had to rerun the Ansible script. So this is about the site ID thing. You really shouldn't be deleting the first site. And although the site comes with example.com as a domain name, which is kind of silly. Instead, it should be your LMS domain name, at least. So I guess it could be part of the tutor init to create the site with the right configuration. Maybe we can give it a try. But let's try this in a minute. First, I wanted to check out the gradebook MFE. Yeah, so I often go on tangents like this when I make a new release because I discover new issues and then I need to address them. So I'm writing this item, resolve broken site. And we really should be doing a get or create site, I think. So student admin, view gradebook. And here you see that it points to apps.lilac.overhang.io. So it's the apps subdomain, which hosts all the MFEs. And then there's the gradebook subpath. And yeah, it looks like we have a gradebook here. So I did not enroll in, did I enroll in the course? No, I don't think I enrolled. So this is why my name is not appearing here. Enroll now. Oh, convenient button. Enroll now. And now my name should be appearing here. Yay! I'm here. And error is in the console. Oh yeah, plenty of logs. Oh yeah. Oh god. What was all that? Oh yeah, plenty of logs. Why do I have so many logs? I don't know. I don't know. Redux logger? I don't know what that is. Why do I have so many logs? Hide debug, hide info, hide logs. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I have so many logs. What about network? Network looks fine. Fine. Calls to segment.com and neuralink.com are failing, but this is only natural. It's because I have my ad blocker. And it really should not be sending anything to segment. It's really pissing me off that this comes by default. There's an issue in the build test release group issue tracker to remove those calls, but it's not been done yet. Okay, so we have 3 MFEs working, which is awesome. So now we can either address some of the issues from in the MFE, some of the to-dos. So I listed a few to-dos here in the MFE README. Well, first of all, get rid of all to-dos. Make sure that it works with other MFEs. Well, this kind of works because there are already 3 MFEs in the configuration. So you see that the MFEs are configured here. But then it's not very easy for people to add stuff to this MFE apps configuration entry. So that if you are a third-party developer and you have your own frontend, you want to add your own MFE to this configuration here. And Tutor does not provide you with a simple mechanism out of the box to do that. So we need to figure out a mechanism to do that. So we could do that, or we could find a simple fix for the site ID thing. What do you think? What are you guys interested in? What are you telling me? What are you telling me? So MFEs or site ID fix? I think the MFEs would be more interesting. You don't really have to focus. Well, it's not very interesting to resolve this broken site thing. We have to do it, but I think it can wait. Let's just. I'm curious if Tutor already. Yeah. Okay, so Tutor already kinda addressed that. When you set a theme, you create a site that corresponds to your LMS. So it should be fairly easy to do that. So let's instead focus on the MFE thing. So what are we going to look at? I would like to resolve that. Find a way for third-party developers to add their own stuff to this list. And this is something that really needs to be discussed with other Tutor maintainers. But I would like to come up with a proposition and a pull request, so that people can understand what it's about. So the idea here is that we create a list of MFEs, and for every one of them we give their source repo as well as the port that they run on in development mode. So at the moment we don't use this a lot because development mode does not work. So the idea that I had was that every time that we create a something MFE app configuration entry, it is parsed, and so we iterate on the list of configuration variables that end with MFE app, and it should give us all the MFEs. So for instance, we could have the account MFE app, and this would include the repo, port, and also the name, and this would be account. And then when we iterate on all variables, then we will find this variable, find the name, repository, port, etc. So let's take a stab at let's try to understand let's try to implement this. Yeah, Sofiane, I can see you're excited about MFEs. Let's try this. So let's take a look at where MFE apps is being used. So the MFE apps is going to be removed if we follow this approach. So instead of iterating here on all MFE apps keys, we would be doing something like for app in iter vars something like that, MFE apps, something like that. And then we would write app name, so instead of name we want app name. Yeah, I don't really like the syntax here. I would like to be able to write iter MFE apps, but then I don't want to have a function here that depends, that is really explicit about MFEs. I want Tutor to be agnostic about MFEs. So let's try Tutor vars like, and this would not be MFE apps but MFE app. Let's iterate on variables that end with, so it would be iter vars end with MFE app. It's not very elegant. Let's do this for now. And maybe we can try to find a different name. Iter vars end with, yeah. Let's try to find a different name to later. So Tutor defines specific template functions in the Tutor env module, and in this module we have a custom Jinja2 environment in which we add a few functions there. So there is, for instance, the random string, which is great for generating passwords, RSA, import key, this kind of stuff. And here we would be adding iter vars and width, and then this would be the self iterate vars and width function method, which we need to implement. Let's sort this by alphabetical order. And then I create the iterate vars and width method. It's a method. It returns an iterable iterable of string well, I don't know what is the annotation exactly. I'll figure this out later. And oh, and this takes a suffix, which is a string, and for all variables that end with this suffix, we yield both the name of the variable and the value of the variable. So for name value in self-config, so the entire tutor configuration, which is saved to config.yaml, is stored in this config attribute. We iterate on the items if name ends with suffix, then we yield the name and the value. And to do document this. And this should give us a functional iter vars and width function. Let's see how this works. Let's try to remove the account app from the MFE apps. And here I run tutor config save. Missing configuration value. Iter vars and width is undefined. So why is it undefined? Environment filters. So it's not a filters. Is it a filters? No, it's not a filter. So filter are used like this. Something. It would be used like this. If iter vars and width were filters, it would be used like this. But it's not. It's not a filter, it's a global. So, and here we see that, for instance, the random string. So wait, how is random string used? Oh right, random string is used as a filter. Hey, it's not too bad. Yeah, no, we cannot really have a filter. It needs to be a global because, yeah, we cannot do a for loop with a filter like that. So we really need a global. So what are other globals? Yeah, we have the patch function, which is a global. And so instead of adding to filters, we need to add to globals. And there you go. And this should be working. So, oh, by the way, can you see my shell? Oh, you couldn't see my shell. So you couldn't see my shell. I had this iter vars and width undefined error. Let's try it again. No. A missing configuration value. Tuple object has no attribute name. Tuple object. Yes, yes. So we have We have a tuple object because the iter_vars endWidth is yielding. So it's not. It's really the var name, and in the caddy file we are going to get the name, the var name, but var name here is going to be MFE underscore account underscore MFE underscore app, and we don't really care about it, so let's just ignore it by using the underscore. And this gives us a clue that maybe our iter_vars endWidth function is not that great. The interface is not that great because we will not need it very often. But let's try to resolve this first. Working. No, not working. Missing configuration value. Name is undefined. Name is undefined. Where are we using? Yes, here we are using name. And indeed, it's not name anymore. It's app name. Yes, looks like it's working. We don't need to see the logs anymore. Instead, we need to check that the caddy file was... yeah, the caddy file includes the account. Yay! So we can start the migration. Let's replace all instances of MFE apps with our new custom approach. So, but maybe first modify the interface here. You know what? I want to change that to iter. So values, such that we can get rid of this. Iter values like, and then here it's not really clear that this is supposed to be a suffix. So maybe like suffix here. And we could imagine that there is a prefix option. Yeah. So iter values like, yeah, I think this is good. What do you guys think? No opinion. Naming variables is exciting. Let's rename that to iter values like, and then we have suffix equals none, and so this means that it's an optional string. Yeah, so Tutor now uses type annotations, and this has allowed me to detect quite a few bugs. So yeah, so we need to add also the return types, and maybe, hey, let's add a prefix. And here, if suffix is not none and var name ends with. So this is not going to work if the prefix is defined as well as the suffix. So let's negate this. If suffix is not none and not var name ends with, we just pass. And here we yield the value. And we do the same with the prefix. And it's not ends with, starts with, we could imagine adding tests, unit tests to this. This will happen, yes. And so this will yield an iterable on stuff, because value can be just anything. So it's going to be a configuration value, and we have a specific type for that. This type is defined wait, it's not defined here? How come? Oh, right. Yeah, I know what happened. Okay, so I created a custom config type such that it's not dict string any, and this happened in a PR which was merged recently. So tutor pulls. So short story, I need to pull the latest changes from the master branch. I need to pull, I need to pull this better config type PR, which explains why the Lilac branch, the Lilac PR, required a rebase. Lilac, it was a pull request called Lilac. So pull request 421. See, so there were conflicts, meaning that it's late compared to the master branch. Okay, let's do that. The tutor, and we have a few changes in our code. Let's stash them. Git rebase master. There are conflicts as expected in the Docker file. So the conflict is here. Yeah, because there were a few changes in the way we handle patches. If patch, yes. So this is a custom feature. We don't need those patches. But we need the ndif. No other conflicts? No other conflicts. So let's resolve. Let's mark this as resolved and continue. Wait, what did I do? Oh, right, it shouldn't be doing that, it should be doing that. Should add this. Okay, and let's apply our stashed changes. So where were we? Yeah, I needed to pull in the config type. And so there's this config value, and so our iter values like will yield a config value. Okay. You know what? Let's run some tests just to check that both our typing is correct, and also the formatting. Undefined variable. Dict any. No, this is interesting. Why do I have a? Why is this failing here? Oh, right. So this upgrade from Koa line was added in the Lilac release, and it's not using dict any, it's using the config object. And yeah, this should be working now. So what's next? Replacing all the MFE variables, MFE apps variables. So here we want to iterate on values like suffix MFE apps, app, for app, and we want to replace name by app name. Yeah, so again here, iter values like. I still don't like this iter values like name, because it means that we iterate on the values for which the suffix of the value, but that doesn't have any sense, the suffix of a value. So iter values like iter config iter values named iter values yeah, this is good. Iter values named. Yeah, this is good. I think this is good. Better than like. So let's do a search and replace. Iter values named and replace all. Yes. And let's keep on replacing our MFE apps things. So here we used to check whether account was included in the MFE apps dictionary. Instead of doing that, what we can do is MFE account MFE app is defined. So if this variable is defined, then add the account micro frontend configuration. And this and the good thing is that we can replace that with the name and the port. Same here. If MFE gradebook is defined, point to the gradebook. Yeah, if profile So this is a bit tedious, but yes, MFE profile, MFE host. So okay, so this was a bit tricky, this part. So we have to be careful about that. So here, the profile URL is actually the path to the MFE / profile / u, and it has to end with a slash, otherwise things will fail miserably. For app in iter values named suffix equals MFE app. So it's not app.port, although that would work. Oh yeah, that would work. Oh, that's good. That's a nice syntax. But I prefer to have the explicit dictionary syntax. The name has to be replaced by app name. And yeah, so this should work. Let's check it out. Does this work? Config say. Meanwhile, our tests succeeded, which is good. You know what? YouTube is telling me that my stream status is good. This is incredible news, because I hate my internet connection so much. Okay, Tutor is telling me that it has a version conflict of some sort. So Tutor, yeah. So what is something depends on Tutor being more recent. Then oh, this is going to be a pain. It's probably one of the plugins. This is not even going to work, is it? No, it's not going to work. Requirement parse. Let's install all the plugins that I don't need for now. Pip uninstall, Tutor, discovery, e-commerce, Tutor Edge. I have Tutor Edge. Tutor journal, remove, yeah, I need Tutor min.io, monitor, notes. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe I can simply create a new virtual environment. Let's call it Tutor 12. Yeah. And link to the Tutor 12 virtual. This is all my local virtual environment management thing. You don't need to worry about that. I installed this. I also need to install my Tutor machine plugin, and this is probably what's causing the issue. Because the Tutor machine plugins depends on a more recent version, an older version of Tutor. No, it doesn't. No, it's fine. Okay, so I don't have to worry about this. Let's install this. And now, can I do this through plugins list? No, it doesn't. It doesn't work again. So what is it that depends on an old? Wait, what? Oh, this. Oh, right. I know what's going on. Yeah, this works. Yeah. We'll figure this out. Why was I doing this? Yes, I wanted to run tutor config save. And meanwhile, I'm going to fix something which you don't need to worry about. Yes. And this should be now working. So tutor config save works. Hi Nadim, good to see you. Yay! So we can keep on replacing. So maybe check that we have the expected plugins MFE. Yeah, so we don't have the MFE plugin installed. So this means that the environment was probably not updated. Apps, open edX, settings, cat development. Let's take a look at the development settings. No, it doesn't include any information related to the account because we removed the MFE plugin. Pip install this plugin locally, then save again. Okay, so we have an issue. Yes, which means that we are actually using the MFE plugin because we were not. So no attribute name. So here this is yielding not a dictionary, but a string. So here app is a string, which is a bug, obviously. Why would it be yielding here a string? Maybe because our MFE plugin is not right. Name account. String object has no attribute name in patch. Let's print every value that we yield here. because we are true hackers. So why are we yielding this here? I think I have an idea. No. Oh no, wait. Did we define these variables here? No, we didn't. So here we are yielding a string. So what is the name that we are yielding? Android OAuth 2 secret. Something is not quite right here. And we are trying to load which suffix? MFE app. So Android OAuth secret. Our ifs here are... Oh no, it's not pass. It's not pass. It's continue. So here, pass does nothing, while continue moves on to the next step in the for loop. Why did you guys tell me so? Why didn't you guys tell me that pass was wrong? So did you see what I did here? So there was this error here, complaining that string object does not have the attribute name. And this was because we were yielding a string object. And this was because we were doing the wrong thing here in the if condition. And this should be working better. Missing configuration value. App is undefined in MFE Docker file. For app in iter values named. Oh, here it's not name, it's app. And looks like config save is working. So do we have build MFE build no plugins MFE build MFE. So right now we have only one MFE, which is the account MFE, and that's because we only defined the account MFE app, and now we need to convert those to the new mechanism. Name, and it's going to be the Gradebook MFE app, and then the profile MFE app, which is named like this. Let's beautify all this. There's a syntax error somewhere. Line 33. Yes, I need to get rid of that. And now, if we save again, we should have all the no MFE apps. Oh, MFE apps is still in use somewhere. Right, it's still used in many places. So I still need to get rid of this. So this is MFE account, MFE app is defined. MFE host, MFE account. Name. MFE gradebook, MFE app is defined. Replace gradebook by the name. MFE profile, MFE is defined. Let's replace this by name. Oh, wait, did we do this correctly in the development environment? Right, so here we need to remove this part here in the development settings. Otherwise we'll have profile slash profile. And we have other instances of MFE apps. If MFE account is defined, MFE okay. So does this make sense? So this MFE base app comes with all these MFE apps. Let's check that it works. Now, if I rebuild it, the MFE image, it shouldn't have, there shouldn't be any change. So it should just use the image cache. 3 images build MFE. Hopefully there isn't any change. Yeah, so there isn't any change, which means that we did our migration correctly. So this makes sense. So to the thing is that once we install this MFE plugin, so we have all these 3 MFEs, it's not possible to remove any of those because we always iterate on the values. And this condition here, if MFE gradebook MFE app is defined, it's always going to be true. So to disable this, I guess the right way to do it would be to set this to null, to none. And this can be done with tutor config save set MFE equals null. But this is going to trigger an error because when so null is parsed to none in Python, but the variable is still defined even though it's none. So all these tests here they will still default to true. So what can we do about it? We could write if MFE account MFE app instead, remove the is defined, and then here And then here we want to iterate on values which are not none. So what is the right way to do that? We could add here an if app is if app, but it's not very convenient. It's not very nice. Here we would like this to yield only values which are not null. We could write iter non values, which is not great. Iter valid, but what does valid mean? It's not really valid. For app in this is showing the limits of our approach. Let's add a test for now inside if value, yeah, then add it to do. It's not great. We need to rename the function, because then the name does not really, well, we could not guess that this yields only non values, but this would work. No. Yeah, so then here we, instead of is defined, we just write this. Same in the development settings. And here we disabled the account MFE app, and we can document this in the README. Explain how to disable. Can you see my IDE well enough? The font size is big enough? Well, we've been streaming for an hour and a half, so I guess if you could not see, you would have told me so. Explain how to disable individual MFEs. And here in the Docker file, we don't build the account MFE anymore because it was set to null. I think the solution is satisfying enough. It's just the naming of the I would really like to simply write a dev iter MFE apps. I think it would make everything much more simple. But then I don't want to hard code MFEs in Tutor core. Well, I guess we can keep it that way. So I don't know about you guys. Oh, so Sofiane, you are suggesting iter initialize values, iter configured values. So it's not iter initialize because nothing is initialized. The initialize refers to an object which has an init method. So it's not really initialized or initialized values. And configured values, well, it's configured values. It's so the config values that are not none. I think we have a good name with iter values named, but then we have to make it explicit that the values yielded are not none. And maybe we could write hello none equals true by default, or false. Yeah, maybe we could write that. If we don't allow none and value is none, continue. Is this satisfying? If not allow none. Allow empty. Allow empty, and instead of value is none, we have not value. Yeah, I think this is okay. What do you guys think? I think this should be good enough. Now we can run tutor config save, and it should be working. I like it when I say it should be working. Of course it should be working. So here we have a mechanism for people to add their own plugins. They just need to add this a variable that ends with MFE app. And it will have to define a name and a repository. And if you do that, then your app will be automatically built inside the Docker image. So I feel like this is a good mechanism. Yeah, so it should be sufficiently good. So do tests pass? In particular, typing tests. Function is missing a type annotation for one or more of its arguments. Yes, indeed, allow empty is a boolean. Yes. But we should probably be testing this, right? So let's, I mean with unit tests. So let's take a look at the unit tests of the env module. Test batch. Just test iter values named. And how am I going to create? Yes, so this is how I'm going to create an environment. Config, and I'm going to call that something one test app 1 something 2 test app 2, and then not something, test app test test not app, and test app 3, and we create a renderer. And what is the value of render? Iter values named suffix equals test app. So this should be, so assert equal. So if we're iterating on the test apps, this should be 1 and 3. And if we make a list out of this, let's run the unit tests. Interesting that it's connecting to the remote server when launching tests. Let's not do that. It's working on the first try, really? Let's try a few more things. Prefix equals something, and this should be 1 and 2, and also we should be testing empty values. Allow empty equals true. Prefix, suffix. Let's put something that evaluates to none, to not true. Let's put 0, because 0 evaluates to false. 0, 1, 1, 2. So 1 should, well, let's see how this fails. It should be failing. Yeah, it does. So so test app, we are not going to get this one. Instead, we're only going to get the second item. And if we iterate on something, we're not going to get this one. We're only going to get the item 1. And if we iterate on something test app, we are only going to get the first item. Let's add another one, something test app. 1, 2, 3. Yay, it's working. So I think we can be reasonably happy with our approach. And I think we can get rid of this item on the to-do list. Yeah, I think I'm happy with this approach. So what I'll do is that I will describe this both in the PR and as a Twitter enhancement proposal, and see what maintainers think about it. So Sophia and Nadim, thinking about you. So there are many things that would need to be added there, that we need to work on. I would have to... there are many other things that we could do today, but I am getting a little tired. It's been almost 2 hours since we started the stream. So I maybe call it a day for today, and see each other next week maybe. Do you guys have any question about this? I thought I just demoed. Well, if you have questions about this, just ask away on the forums. Please don't post under the on YouTube. I just don't check the comments there. If there are things that you would like to see next week, please also hit me on the forums. Yeah. And that's it. I think we're good to go. It was a pleasure. Also, it's really cool that the streaming worked more or less well. I'm looking forward to doing this more often. See you guys. Bye.